Part 1 of Claims. Absolutely all religious claims fall into only two categories: the things that are not evidently true and the things that are evidently not true. Creationists fall into only two categories: those that are innocently deceived and therefore are assisted, and those who are deliberately dishonest. It can be said that the type of world you want to live in has no bearing on the type of world you actually live in. Faith, the most dishonest act you can commit. Teaching children to believe sets them up to a life of dishonesty, lying to themselves and everyone else for a lifetime. Teaching other people to believe or have faith being the most dishonest thing you can commit. What you're doing is you're giving away the only thing in life that you truly own: your honor. Proclaiming faith in the supernatural is just giving away your honor. You can't take credit for your talents, but it matters that you use them. You can't be blamed for your weaknesses, but it matters that you correct them. Pride and shame make no sense. Commitment to well-being, however, makes sense. We tell ourselves we live in a free country, allowing parents to raise their children to have their beliefs. I don't care what you believe. You believe whatever you want. The problem arises with denial of scientific truth. With elected officials wielding the power over legislation and denying truth. This will lead to disaster. For instance, the person on the street doesn't care about climate change. What can they do about it? It's when elected officials deny climate change, something that scientists have been telling them now for decades. The petroleum industrial legislative complex intentionally hid the facts of climate change from the public, starting in the early 1970s. This is, for instance, what started the environmental movement, called Earth Day. Are the legislators going to create legislation in response? If not, that is the end of an informed democracy. If the elected officials want to say the earth is 6,000 years old, it's probably because their electorate thinks so. If they pass laws allowing public school teachers to teach creationism as science in parallel with evolution in science classes, then that is what the electorate has asked them to do. We need an informed and enlightened electorate to vote into office sensible legislators to make decisions that can affect us all, not derived from personal private beliefs based on superstition. The USA rejected tyranny and slavery, fought a terrible civil war over it, and now we want to legislate slavery of the mind into our schools. To put our posterity on a level playing field with the rest of the world, we must show that the idea of worshiping mythical beings, the idea of giving superstition credulity, and the idea of civility with slavery to religion are all bad ideas. It is embarrassing that my government has been taken over by people like evangelicals who do not believe in science and rationality. This is the 21st century. The future does not belong to evangelicals. The future does not belong to religion. Religious superstition is disgusting arrogance parading as humility. There is nothing humble about pronouncing in public media that, "Thank you, God, for this award or touchdown or success over my opponent or enemy." What they are really saying is, "Thank you, God, for making me so powerful, wonderful, adorable, and talented." When you were a child and your parents, teachers, and so-called adults around you were telling you what to believe, do you think that if they had switched the fairy tales that they read to you in bed from the Bible to some story from Aesop, for example, you would have known the difference? No. Do you think the myth about a man living in a well, if it was switched to Jack and the Beanstalk today, you would know the difference? No. Why do you believe in one fairy tale myth and not the other? It is because adults told you it was true and they scared you into believing it under pain of death and eternal burning and suffering in hell. If you were born in Pakistan, you wouldn't believe in Jesus Christ. You would believe in Mohammed. So belief is arbitrary, isn't it? So believing in Jesus Christ would have been replaced with another fairy tale when you were a child. And you would now believe in that fantastical fairy tale myth. It is right to attack religion, to attack any false belief, but on intellectual grounds based in argument and evidence, rather than insult. People are easily offended because they identify with their religion, which is very unfortunate for us as a basic human weakness. Those who are immune to this ridicule understand that you as a person are not your religion. You are your own person. You are you. It is not possible to prove there is no God. Never has been possible, is not possible now, and never will be possible. Nature and logic is clear. A negative cannot be proven. When standing on the corner and witnessing two cars nearly colliding, but no accident occurs, you can say to others not present, "There was no accident. Look, they almost hit." But producing evidence to those not present that there was no accident is not possible. Since there was no accident, there is no evidence there was no accident. There can only be evidence of an actual accident, from the collision damage, for instance. This is the error of the believer who demands the atheist prove, quote, "There is no God," unquote. The onus is on the believer to show the evidence of existence of God, as in the accident showing the collision damage.